Hello, Bill Barron,
Shelley Fayette?
and we're here today because since the governor gave his directive on opening up, there's a lot of confusion on how that's going to all happen in our area here. And so today we want to do this video to try to explain the process and what's moving forward. As you know already from the news, the tribe has decided that they want to stay with shelter in place, and the county has made a decision to follow the governor's directive. That wasn't a really easy decision. There was a lot of conversation that went into that, a lot of communication with our health nurse, our OEM, the other commissioners, and ultimately the decision was made. So we've had questions, so what does that mean for the unified command? Well, to me, I feel that it's probably more important than ever that we stay in that system. We have, we've chosen to take a little different path each direction, but what we have to prepare for is what happens if it was wrong to open up now, and what happens if we do get an influx of cases and how that might affect us. And so to me, I think it's more important than ever that we stay together and work for what's coming down the road.
And I think you're right, Bill. As one of the incident commanders said on our call yesterday, we're trying to make the perfect decision without perfect information. And that's just the nature of this pandemic, is we don't have all the information and we don't know what's down the road, but we do have to plan for the worst case scenario.
And I think you're exactly right on that. That's what we have to do. And this is, to me, this has been a really good example of a lot of the issues and the problems the tribe and the county has when we try to work together on issues. The tribe being a sovereign nation, working with a county that is a ward of the state, those are very difficult jurisdictional boundaries and issues to overcome quite often. I think what we're doing now with this unified command has been a huge step in trying to deal with that issue.
Mm-hmm. And I agree that, you know, while the tribes have chosen what I consider a more conservative approach, we have to keep in mind that we're only 10% of the population, although we are responsible for 65% of the land base, and so, you know, we're gonna make our decisions based on that. So moving forward, you know, we'll continue to shelter in place and attempt to protect all the people of the reservation and protect our lands, especially when it comes to a surge of out-of-state visitors. So I think, but the joint message I feel is that we all have the responsibility to do what we think is right.
And I completely agree with that. And you know, that leads to me, that takes us to personal responsibility. If you're not comfortable being out yet, you don't have to. This doesn't say you have to go out and use the stores and the restaurants and things. I've talked to people who aren't comfortable and they are choosing to stay in place. They're going to shelter in place. They're going to go out very, very little, no more than they absolutely have to. If you're a restaurant and the curbside service is working well for you, and you don't feel like you want to open up yet, keep doing the curbside service. You know, do what fits you and what you're comfortable with. Use some common sense.
Exactly. And I think just because the shelter in place order from the tribe says all residents of the Flathead Reservation, we're not going to try to be the virus police. We just cannot do that. It's, again, a matter of personal choice and personal responsibility. So we've chosen to take a longer pause, and that's okay. Again, it's different jurisdictions, different thought processes, but we all are in this together.
One thing I learned in our UC call yesterday was something we don't take into consideration as a county resident is there are cultural concerns. And they were brought up in one of the UC meetings, and something I'd never thought of that is very important. And it's just, we're learning about each other and what we can and cannot do and things, and the things that affect us the more we work together on this.
And I think some of those concerns that you talk about deal with, you know, we have to consider our most vulnerable populations, those that may be medically compromised or elders or very young children. And so that's the perspective that we have to come forward with, is, you know, thinking about not only those compromised individuals, but everyone as a whole, because we live together on this reservation.
It, you know, I always try to be an optimist. I always try to work together, and I just tell myself that when this is over, good things are going to come out of it. You know, a lot of times you go through a bad thing and good things come out of it, and I really believe in the end that's going to happen here. And hopefully we'll have a better understanding of each other, and that'll help us as we deal with tough issues in the future between each other.
And I think between now and then, we just need to remember to socially distance and protect ourselves in every way possible. So I think that's the big message that I want to portray to the public, is just remember to socially distance.
And I just want to touch base before we go on. We have some really fantastic people that are working on this team in a lot of different areas, and I don't know them all. I can't remember all the names, but you know, Greg Gould is huge. He's worked in pandemics in other areas. He's worked in 4 pandemics with FEMA. A huge resource to have in our area right now. Jim Steele, Mark Clary, the rest of our incident command team, and many, many others. The health department people, our PR people. I mean, we've just got a great team that's working very hard on this issue to take care of the public. I mean, one thing I've really learned in this is a lot of times people think, well, the county only cares about the county, and we think the tribe only cares about the tribe. That's not the case. One thing I really learned in this is that we all really do care about each other, and we want what's best for everyone.
Okay, thank you.